All right, I think we're all set. Good morning, coaches, and hello to those of you who are watching this on record later. We've missed you this morning. We're super excited to just kind of gather together as a community and really just connect with one another, but also kind of build up some excitement and just keep pursuing our passion with coaching. And so kind of the hope for this time together is not to kind of reinvent and recreate what has already been presented to us. So we're not going to go into a lot of depth about exactly the requirements of earning the cruise or, I'm going to talk a little bit about MAP. Well, there's a MAP training, so I'm not going to train on the MAP, but I'm just going to kind of hit some highlights. So we want to add value for you and make this worth your time. But I think it's going to be really fun because it's going to just be a time to hear some stories from those of us who are at convention. And then also we are going to do a little bit of training. So I'll talk a little bit about this when I introduce Sarah about kind of the training piece that we want to go into this morning. So so we've got a couple speakers who are going to talk about their experience at the convention this last couple weeks ago. Sarah Ealing and myself will do a little bit of training, and then we'll open it up for Q&A, or if anyone can share stories of convention that they want to share, we can do that. So with that, I'm going to ask Jeff to unmute himself, and I'm going to ask him to go ahead and share your convention time and stories and experience.
Sounds great. Thanks, Liz. I appreciate you having me on this morning, and good morning to everybody. Liz kind of asked me last minute to do this, so it's going to be terrible. You're all just going to have to deal with it. No, I'm kidding. I actually really enjoyed convention. I originally made kind of a pact with Ealing. I said, well, yeah, I'll go, I'll just do it. And, more or less as a favor to her and kind of a cool trip. But after being there and just hanging out with a lot of you guys and amongst all of our other coach friends out there, I really saw how big this is, not just from a standpoint of financial possibilities, but just everybody there was on fire for helping other people. And it kind of reminded me for myself through my journey, kind of the trials and tribulations that I went through. And wow, actually, okay, yep, after talking to you, I remember having that feeling. I remember having that craving. I remember having that doubt. And so just being able to just rub shoulders with our colleagues and to be able to understand where they're coming from, and that maybe where I was coming from, though I felt like I was on an island by myself, that really wasn't the case. There was just a lot of people with similar goals, and everybody genuinely wants to help each other. I really enjoyed the speaking. A lot of great presenters, and what I thought was neat about that is that everybody, of course, is going to grab something a little bit different out of that. So I think that personally, I absorbed quite a bit while I was there and had, of course, some of my favorite speakers, but I'm going to go back. Ealing recorded a bunch of the audio, and I know some other people recorded some of the presentations as well. And I'm going to go back in another month or two and look at that and go, okay, what can I get out of that now? And did I fulfill what the goals that I set forth for myself a month ago, whether it's the 3x3x3 or any of that stuff? Am I continuing to do that? So I'm going to use that personally as a check and balance to say, yep, am I on track with the actions that I've committed to for myself? And then on top of that, it renewed my why. I had recently taken a promotion at work, right about the time, probably within a day or two of deciding to actually coach. And it just felt like one hurdle in front of another. And I thought, I've committed to doing this. I want to do this, but I'm using work as my big hurdle that I'm not willing to jump over. And after convention, I realized that, it really doesn't take much to make this happen. There's a great support group in your personal business coach and everybody else. And it's just a matter of doing the work and making it happen and prioritizing it, because we can all find that white space in our lives. And for me, it was just a matter of saying, some of these things that I was doing were not important. And it actually helped me reprioritize some of the other aspects of my life, whether it's relationships or family or any of that stuff. So it was a great experience. I'm excited to go next year, and looking forward, of course, to seeing everybody again and looking to see where everybody was and where they are and where they're going. So that's all I have. But thank you so much, Liz, for having me on, and I wish everybody a great day.
Okay, sorry. Here we go. This is my Zoom troubles. Thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate that. I'm just gonna get this going. Yeah, no, thank you so much. That was awesome. I love a couple things I love about what you shared. One is like going back in a month and revisiting kind of the goals you set coming out of convention. That's such a good practice to get into. I mean, how much do we like try to keep going forward, but then first of all, not look back and celebrate how far we've come, but then also like do that check to make sure, because I think it's so common to come out of the event on a really emotional high. And I think I shared this really briefly in our little convention, which some of you weren't in there because not everyone was at convention, but I shared a little bit of like kind of channeling that emotion into like what exactly what you talked about, Jeff, like deciding like kind of what your priorities are and what the structure is that you want to come into. So thanks for sharing. That was really, really great. We appreciate it. And I know you might need to leave and go back to work. And so if that's the case, we will miss you and have a great day. But up next, we have Debbie West. So I'm going to go ahead and get you all spotlighted, Debbie, and please share everything you have.
Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having me on, Liz. What I enjoyed about the conference is I had found that originally I wasn't going to go, and it was a last minute decision. And the thing that I loved about the conference is that, first of all, I loved getting to know the group that our group. I really didn't have a lot of contact with a lot of you. So that was very enlightening. I really enjoyed meeting a lot of the coaches that we have within our team. And it kind of got me engaged in the whole process. I really was not really engaged until I went to conference and just heard all of this stuff, and I came back and I was literally on fire. I just was so excited because I knew that I could do this, and I had the self-doubting. I kept thinking, well, I don't know if this is something that I really want to do, but I know this is right. It feels right. I'm not selling, I'm telling and sharing, or whatever that statement is, telling, and well, you guys know what it is, but so, just basically, getting to know the group. And the thing that I also found is that by signing up with this is the best thing that I've ever done as far as signing up for this program initially. And then also, just going to the conference and having that positive group. I mean, I've never seen so many positive people in one location. I just was so impressed with the group, 6,000 people, and I did not meet one negative person. Everybody was extremely happy to be there. We all had the same connection. We had an instant connection because these people knew what we all had gone through and what we're going through, just bringing people into the business. So, or into the program. So, and the other thing that I liked is meeting the people that I had talked to online. I'd met a lot of people online, and it told me that it's important to kind of get to know people within the group and kind of connect, just to make that important decision to kind of know people. And so that was helpful to see people in, face to face rather than talking to them online. So that's really essential. I learned that it's important to connect with as many people as possible, which I don't have a problem doing. As you all know, I'm very outgoing. So I enjoy this. This whole process feels so right for me. Like I said, I've done direct sales before. This is nothing like direct sales. I enjoy it immensely. So it's more helping, and that's really what I'm getting out of this. The thing that I liked about the conference also is that they had panelists where they were doing actual discussions about how to do different things, as far as whether you were talking to someone about the program, what to say, how to do different ideas to approach people, and be the one thing that my main takeaway is that to be yourself, to be authentic. And that has been resonated with me as far as all of the entire time since I've been doing this. And it is very true, because when you are honest and true to yourself and to the people that you're talking to, I think you have much more of a chance of connecting with that person. And just since I've done this, or since I've come back, I have posted. I've never posted before. I was terrified to do it because I didn't want people, I'm too vain. I don't want people to see what I looked like before, but I had to bite the bullet and do it. And I can't believe the people that came out of the woodwork. I had so many people that responded to me and people that wanted to know about the program and were genuinely interested. And I had one person sign up yesterday. It was a friend of mine, and she needs it so bad. She's going through a difficult time. She needs this so it's going to change her life. She's got all kinds of medical issues, and it gives me so much joy to help her. And it's not about the money. It's about me helping her. So that really has helped me to look at it differently. And then one thing that Greg also had, Jeff had said is that there was so much information that I'm hoping, I was overwhelmed with I had information overload. And I really hope that they have some type of a method that we can go back and access these whether it be on Zoom or whether it be on podcasts. I've been listening to podcasts in my car. I mean, this whole conference has changed me too. So I'm looking forward to next year, and I've signed up already. And I don't know, what, as far as the hotel and that type of thing, I will worry about that when I get closer to the date. But I'm extremely excited about moving forward this year. And I don't know where it'll take me, but at least it's giving me purpose in my retirement. I'm loving this for that reason. It's giving me purpose. It's bringing in some extra fun money, and I can do this when I'm on the road traveling with our travel trailer. It's wonderful. I just have to get the system down, and once I do it, I know it'll be something that I'm going to enjoy immensely. So, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much. That was amazing. Both you and Jeff, I'm just like, okay, we can be done training. We can be done like chatting now, because like you guys are the heart and the both, like the action and the heart. And that's what I love, is that we have this incredible business where like when we get into action, amazing things happen business wise, but like the heart is like primary, and it's always first, and it always shines through, and it's like everything flows out of that business wise. You're so right, Debbie. This is so different from anything else I've ever experienced, and I'm so excited that the two of you were able to have that great experience to see that up close and personal, and know that there's lots more opportunities to come for that. And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end here. But thank you so much to both of you guys for sharing, and really quality, good stuff. Thank you. So we'll kind of shift into a little bit of kind of training. And this is like, I use the word training kind of loosely because it's really more just helping give you some kind of guideposts for going forward, for how you move forward to kind of reach your goals, help more people. We have a couple of different incentives that we can use to kind of fuel a little bit of our action side, because when we talk a lot in coaching, or our leaders and mentors talk a lot about moving ourselves from emotion into structure. And so that like that emotion that we experience of how excited we are and passionate we are about how fulfilled we are, which is, like I said, the primary, channeling that into some structure and kind of being able to kind of move ourselves into a place of, committing to the structure and sticking with it, even when that emotion isn't there driving us. So we're feeling tired, we're feeling worn out and those sort of things, but that we're still kind of moving in the direction that we want to go towards our goals. So Elaine and Sarah are going to share a little bit about that. And Sarah's actually going to share a little bit about, so let me back up for a minute. So we're going to talk a little bit this morning about how to go ED. The reason that we're going to do that, Sarah's going to tell a little bit about the reason, but the reason we're kind of focusing on that this morning is because if you notice, the majority of coaches are going to, in order to earn that cruise, are going to advance to executive director ED. And so we want to help you understand, like, first of all, how to get there, but also why it's important and how that's going to propel your business. Because yes, it might earn you a trip, which is amazing, but like, what is it going to do for your business? Because that's going to outlast the trip. And so the trip is a great incentive, but we want to have like that solid foundation. So with that, I'd love to have Sarah share a little bit about just kind of how going to executive director and beyond. She's just done incredible things. And I think that she'll be able to share with you how executive director set her up for even more. So take it away, Sarah.
Good morning, guys. Oh, all right. I'm new to this training thing. So when Liz asked me, kind of the statement that she gave me was, how did going executive director change it for you? Meaning like change the trajectory of where I was at. And my first thought was, how did it not? The last year, so I started coaching in May of 17, and 4 weeks after I started coaching, actually I think it was 3 weeks after I started coaching, summer started, so my kids were home. And I was actually, last night I pulled up on Optavia Connect, kind of looking at my volume and what the beginning of my business looked like up until the point when I hit executive director. And that was really interesting. And I encourage you guys to kind of look at your months too. But it changed a lot for me. And the big part of it is it went from being just a little bit of extra income to a significant amount of extra income that really made a difference for our family. It also set me on this path of momentum, because when you start building your client, we call it your funnel of clients. When you start building that funnel, you start getting more referrals. They're like walking billboards for you. And so once I got my volume, and to get executive director in just volume, it's 6,000 in frontline volume, which is like 17 to 20 clients. So imagine 17 to 20 people that you're coaching, you know, sharing with family and friends, and it just kind of started to snowball from there. I know that Eileen's going to kind of talk about how you go executive director and what you need to do. But things that it offered for us was we were able to pay our debt down faster. We went on a Disney cruise in February and came home and it was like already paid for. My husband earns an amazing living. This just gave us that little extra cushion. We, about 6 years ago, had to take out a humongous loan to get out of a house we were in, because when the market crashed, we got in some trouble. I shouldn't say trouble, but we were very upside down on our house. And so this extra income that I was generating while I was also still nursing helped us to pay off that loan in May. And then 2 weeks later, we found out we're buying a new house. So totally a God thing, I think. Another thing that ED changed for me was it forced me to get into structure with my business. I went executive director in September of last year. And I remember, Liz, you know, as the month was going on, my volume was increasing. In August, I had 4,000 frontline volume, okay? And I needed to get to 6,000. And so my volume was probably close to 4,000. And as the month went, I got a couple more clients, and Liz, being the amazing coach that she is, you know, saw that that was happening. And so you guys, I remember her saying to me, you can hit ED, you can do it in less than a week. You can do it in less than a week. You just need to, these are the steps you need to do. And I didn't understand that, but I followed what she told me and what Megan told me, and I hit executive director by the end of the month. So it really doesn't have to be like hours and hours in a day. That particular month, I spent about 48 hours just really focused on client acquisition, scheduling health assessments, and that from conversations I had had over the last month. September is a great month too, you guys. I've told a lot of people on my team, it's kind of like a January 1st. Summer's ending, people are ready to, you know, get back into structure themselves and shed those margaritas. So really capitalize on that. Be active on social media this month. So let's see, I want to go back to the structure thing. When I first started coaching, you know, I was fitting it into the nooks and crannies, and I looked at Liz and I was like, she's so organized and she's so structured. I want to be like that. But, it was summer and life was crazy. But once I got that volume and my husband saw, like, this is a job. It's not just a hobby. That also kind of forced me or allowed me to be able to go into my office and set aside the time that I need and not feel like I was just doing a hobby and away from my family. I remember hearing early on that, when you're starting your business or anything that's worth value is going to take sacrifice. And one of the speakers at convention last summer said, look at giving up the good and go for the great. And I remember hearing that sacrifice looks different for all of us, but they said in your year that you want to really grow your volume, what are you willing to set aside for a time? And for me, and this was really hard for me, but for me, I decided I had a lot of girlfriend time. I went out with my girlfriends all the time. That's what I did. And I literally had a conversation with a handful of them. And I just said, I want you guys to know right now I'm working 2 jobs and I see in the future more freedom opening up, but right for the next year, I just want you to know I love you. It's not that I'm avoiding you, but my free time is going to go to this business because in a year, I'm going to have more freedom. And I do. In fact, I'm not working at the hospital anymore. I think you guys probably all know that. But it took sacrifice, and I do not regret it in any way. And those girls are still my friends. I told them to keep inviting me to things throughout the year. And if I couldn't go, it was nothing against them. It was just, I needed to give up the good for the great. And I did that for a time. Was it easy? No. But another thing that really changed when I hit ED was I really realized how much I needed to work on personal growth for myself. It's really hard to coach people when you're empty. And so that structure, another part of that structure was for me being very intentional about just some downtime for me in a day, whether it was reading my Bible or listening to a podcast or a book. That was key, so that when I was coaching and when I was posting on Facebook, I was being truly authentic and not just, copy and pasting, which I did for months when I was learning. So I think that's kind of all that I have, but it definitely has changed the course of our reality. I don't know, Chris, do you want to add to any of that?
Yeah, for Sarah, moving up to executive director, listening to Jeff talk previously and Debbie, what really comes out when you think about the 4 pillars of our business is your coach, the fuelings, the habits of health, and most definitely the community. And that's what reigns through in your conversations is the community. So not only Sarah building a frontline volume, but also building coaches, and ultimately what we're doing is helping people. We're building that community right here, which I think is what sets this company apart from any other company that's out there. And after going to convention, it's obvious that there is a need and that we have a very, very effective tool to offer people to help that. So not only in the financial aspect, but also just in creating that community, and the circle of influence that we are able to help now is growing by leaps and bounds. So it's been incredibly important to continue to grow and reach that level.
I told Chris one of these days I'm going to have a paycheck bigger than his, and that makes him nervous.
It makes me very happy.
I think that's it. Thank you, guys.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that cracks me up. And that was amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously. I absolutely loved hearing your guys' thoughts and hearts. That was incredible. And I love that, again, it's like we have this incredible thing in our hands that is transforming our financial pictures, but that's not why any of us started it. And that's not why we're continuing it. I mean, it's a little bit, of course it is. Like, that's a wise thing to do, is like steward well what's coming your way. But I love that it's just like her said, it's the ability that your ability to help people is expanding, and that's kind of what's so cool. And we're just so excited to see you guys grow, and you're all growing, your coaches and things. And so, yeah, we're going to just keep rolling on. And so with that, how do we keep rolling on? Eling's going to help us get there to ED. So she and I actually chatted a little bit yesterday, and one of the things we were talking about, and I hadn't even really thought this through when I asked her to share this, but then we ended up talking about it, and I'm like, you're actually the perfect person to share on this, because the conversation we were having is that it's so important when you're wanting to move forward in your business to couple your action with personal growth. And Eling has just killed it in both of those areas. So I'm going to find her to spotlight her and let her share. All right, thanks, Eling.
Well, hi, everybody. Good morning. It's nice to see you all. So let's talk going executive director. When I first started coaching, I didn't really have a concept of what that was, nor did I know what it was. But I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to make a difference in their life in the way that my life had been shifted and changed. And I wanted to open their minds up to the hope that I now had for the future, coming from a place where I felt very, very, very stuck. And so I want to take a minute to go through some of the mechanics, the 3x3x3, tell you how you utilize that, which is our core action, to get to executive director. And then some of the mindset pieces that for me went along with that. So let me say this, I was nowhere near executive director at the beginning of November of 2017. But by the end of November, I think on the last day or maybe the day before, I can't remember, I was executive director. And that's because I think middle of the month or close to the beginning of week 3 of November, I made a decision that that's what I was going to do. And it happened in a week or maybe 2. But regardless, it's not necessarily a lot of time. It just takes really honing in your action, being strategic, and strategic in a way that you're using your heart. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the 3x3x3, because you hear it a lot, but these are the things that clicked in my mind that helped me understand it so I could get behind it and be consistent with the action. So number 1, 3 new connections or friends per day. So why are we doing that? We want to expand your reach. We always are wanting to connect with more people so that we can share the message to a wider group of people. And when you're on Facebook and you're doing it with Facebook friends, you're connecting not only with them, but oftentimes through your post with their friends of friends. This is huge, guys. Just starting a conversation. I remember getting so kind of hooked up in, well, what do I say to these people? And do I tell them directly or what I'm doing or not? No. This isn't about an agenda. This is about connecting with somebody that you have a previous connection with and building a relationship, asking them how they are, start mentioning something that you saw on their Facebook wall. Maybe they just recently got married, congratulating them, being very genuine and asking them how it's going. That's all this is. We're making Facebook social. That's it. Instead of mindless scrolling, we're making Facebook social. And it doesn't have to be weird to reach out and say hi to somebody unless you make it weird. And trust me, I made it weird at the beginning. We all do. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel. So that's the 3 new conversations. And then 3 posts a day. This is the one I started with. Understand it from Bill. And I started on it. It's vulnerable for me. I had a dead Facebook page, you guys. All I did was scroll. I didn't post. But here's what the 3 posts
Hey, Eling.
do.
I don't know if hey, Eling, can you hear me? Oh, I don't think she can hear. Hey, Elaine, can you hear me? Elaine, can you hear me? Oh, we lost her. Did we lose her? I'm sorry about that, guys. I was just about to send her a text and try and see if we can, because if she turns her video off, a lot of times when you have, sorry, I'm gonna spotlight myself. Okay, so Sarah, could you maybe send her a quick text and just let her know that if she turns her video off and we just can do audio, that usually is what for me. Yeah. And so when she hops back on, we can let her continue. I'm sitting there like, no, this is such good content. Please don't internet die on us.
I know. And then I was wondering, is it my computer or is it hers?
I know. And I do think that if she has a poor connection and she just turns her video off, I think that'll work. Okay, so while we're waiting for Elaine to come back, because I do want her to finish, I'm gonna meet you, Sarah. I'm gonna just, oh wait, did she come back? No, not yet. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so I'm gonna talk about the map a little bit while we wait for Elaine, because I think it's important. If we are able to get her info, it'll be really good. Okay, so like I mentioned in the beginning, there's a training on the MAP, the monthly action plan. And if you haven't watched it yet, I would encourage you to watch it. The other thing I'll say too is if you're not a senior coach yet, just connect with your business coach and ask them, should I start doing a MAP? I'm not a senior coach yet, but should I start working on my MAP, and kind of work that out with them. Typically when you aren't a senior coach yet, it's not necessary, but it can be a good practice to get into if you're wanting to build to senior coach. You'll be able to kind of utilize some of what I'm going to talk about that actually can help you get there. And so I think that's okay if that's something that you and your business coach decide. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole training on this, but the gist of it is that what our MAP does is it gives us a plan for our month that brings our action into like a structural tension standpoint. So we start at the bottom with our current reality. We layer in kind of what's going to be happening from the beginning to the end of the month as far as our orders go. We end at the top with our desired outcome and our goal for the month. And kind of there's some other parts and pieces that fill in around there to help us build up to that desired outcome. And some of those parts and pieces are going to be what I talk about a little bit. And oh, looks like we have Elaine back. So hey, Elaine.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go ahead and finish chatting about the MAP, and then I'll let you finish. If you don't have a strong internet connection, just go ahead and turn off your video. But we really want to hear what you were saying. It was so good. So I'll hand off to you once I finish here. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the parts and pieces that might help you to utilize the MAP a little bit more effectively throughout the month. So I apologize. I had kind of wanted to do like a PowerPoint or something that you could see it on the screen, and I wasn't able to pull that together because again, I'm new to Zoom and we got to figure those things out, but we'll work on it. And in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of talk it through for you. And really it's conceptual. You don't necessarily have to see it in order to grasp the thoughts that I have. So first of all, when you fill out your MAP, and I'm going to share a couple of things that Doug Wood has, kind of shares in his MAP trainings. And I really took these to heart in the beginning of my coaching practice and still do follow these practices. And I really believe that these are the types of things that help you to build a really strong business. So the first thing I want to encourage is that you don't fill it out. So you do fill it out completely. Don't leave anything blank. If you need to put a zero, that's okay. With the exception of, your clients, you don't have to put zeros from wherever your Premier orders end. You don't have to put zeros up. But when you're talking about, some of your goals, your desired outcomes, and also even at the bottom, your current reality, if you have 0 new clients, just throw a 0 in there. The second thing I want to encourage when you're putting your, you're going to run your projected Premier orders report on the, first or second day of the month. When you start recording those on your MAP, be really honest with yourself about where your clients are at. If you have a client who's on your Premier report and they have been on program for a month and they update their Premier order and it has $150 worth of fuelings, first of all, that's an indication that you want to connect with them and be coaching them because they're probably not on the full program. But second of all, don't count them as a full client order. And this is something that I've been pretty strict with myself on, and will leave people off. I've kind of shifted a little bit because I want to have their names on there and make sure that I'm staying really closely connected with them throughout the month, which I would be anyways, but it just reminds me, yes, they're still on program. However, that being said, I don't count them as a full order. And therefore, when I'm determining how many new clients I need in a month to reach my goals, I'm being really honest with myself about where my clients are at and not assuming that people who I know are really not fully committed are going to be a part of a significant part of my ending frontline volume. And what that does is it helps guide my action. It helps me to know realistically, if I want to be at X at the end of the month, how many new clients do I need to start? And so then from there, speaking on, how many new clients do I need to start, it really comes down to how many health assessments am I doing? How many health assessments am I doing comes to how am I filling my funnel? So Eling, when I throw back to Eling, she's going to give those incredible tips and thoughts on filling up your funnel. But what I want to just share a little bit about is how I kind of track some of that information throughout the month so that I'm not falling behind, losing people that I've connected with. And then I'm also making it easier for myself to go ahead and follow up with people down the line. So what I do, there is a version of the map I know that has a 100 list or, list of contacts on the back. And if you have been using that and continue to prefer that, that's completely fine. But I've always printed mine just with a blank back. So we do have the activity tracker on here, which is a great place to kind of track that 3x3x3 activity. However, you can either instead of or in addition to flip your map over and keep track of your names on the back of people you're starting conversations with, who you're doing health assessments with, and who you're doing Coach Explores with. So I just personally think that's a really simple way to contain the information so you're not all over the place. We are sending lots of messages if we're doing 3x3x3. It's going to be easy to lose track of who expressed an interest in some way, but maybe isn't ready for a health assessment. So I would encourage you to find ways that your map works for you to help you, number one, fill up your funnel. Number two, bring those people into health assessments. Number three, bring them into your front line as coaches or as clients. Well, number four, bring them into your organization as coaches. But, just kind of starring on the back, the names that are people who, like I said, maybe have expressed interest or asked you a question, but when you went back to, invite them to a health assessment, they weren't ready yet. Or if they've done a health assessment, like I said, and then you're following up from there. So the other thing, the other couple things I wanted to share about, I'll kind of talk at the end. Why don't we go back to Eling? And Eling, I don't know if you want to take it from the top. You can decide. We heard most of your first three and some of your second three, I think is where we left off. So I'll let you take it away. Thanks, Eling.
Okay, so can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. So we talked at the beginning. So if you heard most of the 3 new connections and friends, next is the 3 conversations. So here's the thing about 3 conversations. Just say hi, connect with them, ask them how they are, connect with them on tell them something that you remember about them that makes you smile. I do that a lot because it's actually good for me, and it reminds me of what a community of people I have around me, and it's a genuine, authentic connection with them. Go into that connection and message without an agenda. We're not messaging them because we want them to become clients. We're messaging them because we want to be a part of their life and connect with them. And if they have a need for health and hope, they'll be open to being inspired by what we have to share. So I really, really tell people all we're doing is making Facebook social. So I know Facebook is supposed to be friends, but if you were like me, you had kind of a dead Facebook page before you started coaching. And I didn't post, I only scrolled. And I liked every now and then or commented every now and then. And this was saying, no, I'm going to truly use Facebook as a tool to develop community. So that's where the 3 new conversations come in. And then 3 posts a day. That's where I started when I started kind of doing the 3 by 3 by 3. And because it was the thing that made me most vulnerable, but it is not your bread and butter in terms of connecting with people. So here's the point of the 3 posts per day. They layer what you're already doing in terms of making new connections, starting conversations, developing authentic relationships behind the scenes in Messenger. The post layer. And so what they do is they help inspire people about hope. They tell them what you're really about, and they help build your reputation and your credibility over time. And the key to that is reputation and credibility, not just once, but over time. The other thing is that I had a concept and a concern and a worry about was, if I'm posting 3 times a day, am I going to drive people nuts? The answer to that is no. Your friends don't see every one of your posts every day. They just don't. And so the 3 posts a day helps you make sure that you're reaching more people. It also helps you connect to different areas of interest for different people, because some people will connect with some of your posts and some they won't. So let's talk about the 3 posts. For me, I love to do a post of inspiration in the morning. Everybody out there needs a little inspiration in the morning. So many people are waking up, going to jobs they hate, feeling horrible, not rested after a night's sleep, if they even slept at all, and having to kind of push through their day. So the inspiration can be a light or a beacon of hope, or a thought that will take them through their day that hopefully will make something better. 2, in the afternoon, I like to do something related to lifestyle. So lifestyle can be anything you want it to be. It might be a recipe. It might be a health tip. It also might just be something about your lifestyle, right? Sharing more about you. People want to get to know you, not just what we have to offer, but you as a human being. And then in the evening, I always share a before and after. Sometimes it's a before and after of myself. Sometimes, actually most of the time, it's a before and after of people in our community. You guys, I had a concept that when I posted these before and afters, people were going to think that I was selling them something. But you know what happened? I was wrong. They don't think I'm selling them something. They are seeing stories of people that inspire them. They are seeing stories of people that remind them of themselves, of their brothers, of their mothers, of their dads, of people in their life that they care about that have been stuck in their health for a long time. These stories help them connect to how what we have to share could help them. So they are so powerful. And if you have a concept or a fear about them, walk through it and just post, because I get comments back from people all the time in my messaging when I'm connecting with them saying, oh, I love the stories you post. They're so inspiring. They connect with me so much. And at the beginning, before I started posting, I never would have known that. So follow the system, 3 by 3 by 3. It's all about connecting, building a relationship, building a community around you. People will naturally be attracted to who you are and what you have to offer. And then with the 3 by 3 by 3, I have found that at least one live video makes a massive, massive, massive difference. Why? Because with a live video, people get to see you. People get to look you in the eye. People have memories and think, oh my gosh, look at her. She looks just like she did in high school, or just like she did 20 years ago. Look how amazing and wonderful and vibrant she looks. It's another amazing way to share the message. And it's also just another amazing way for people to remember who you are and why they love you, and continue to build a community around you. So if you're scared of live, I get it. I was petrified, but do it. You will find that it pays back in spades. Again, we're creating true, authentic connection via Facebook, not just mindless scrolling. And we are being leaders of that. And how you do that? You let them see your smiling face and hear your voice. And it brings back all of the things that they love about you and why you are a friend of theirs on Facebook in the first place. So the last piece to this is with the 3 by 3, have a list, you guys, just like Liz was talking about. Have a strategy. Who do you put on that list if you haven't really started? Everybody who comments or likes your posts, people who you have on your heart that could be helped by program. And everybody who comments or likes on your post, they are people that are watching. They are fascinated. So message them, develop a relationship with them, ask them how they are. It's bold. There's a lot of people watching that aren't liking your post, but the people that are, they're bold. They are looking for something that we have to offer. So take that list, understand that it is your strategy to help so many. Most importantly, with your mindset, remember, we have a gift to share. We have a heart to help others. We're sharing this gift and this offer in health. Don't be attached to when or if someone becomes a client. They will when it's their time, not when anybody else is. You have a goal. You have a goal as executive director. And when you let go of the attachment of who helps get you to your goal as they're pursuing your own health, things will grow by leaps and bounds. It's always just about one more, helping one more, and then one more, and then one more. And when you're very clear and you set a goal and you do the action and you commit to it without excuses, my friends, it will happen. Like I said at the beginning, I made a decision middle to close to the end of the month. And by the end of the month, I was an executive director. You can do this too. Share your mind, share your heart, share your passion for this gift unapologetically, using Facebook as a tool, and then also in person around you. You'll be an executive director before you know it, my friends. That's all I have.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, just incredible. Wow, the wisdom.
I think too, most people on this call, but just to reiterate, like the reason, like Liz said in the beginning, that we wanted to focus on growing to executive director is you guys, A, it's going to change your world and your business, but B, there is a cruise paid for 2 in March. Like, it's worth going for.
It's so true. So true. And I was just going to say that the thing I love about the 3x3x3 and kind of what you touched on at the end there, because when you really lean into it, what it's going to do is it's going to kind of be like your 5-in-1 program, and it's going to provide some opportunity for you to have an unveiling of the areas of growth that you want to come into. And that's where, like I was saying, when we take our action and combine it with personal growth, like, buckle your seatbelt, watch out, world, because you're coming and going to do amazing things to help people. But so what I love about the 3x3x3 is, like, so when we're on 5-in-1, this is what I tell clients a lot of the time, is that I think of 5-in-1 as being boundaries for our eating. And so if I'm trying to eat at a time that I'm not supposed to, eating something that isn't on the program, or eating more quantity-wise, portion-wise than is on the program, that's my trigger for identifying what's going on here. And that what's going on here and working through that, that's the growth. And I think the 3x3x3 can serve that same purpose in our coaching careers, where when you really want to achieve a goal of going on this cruise, or I'll talk about Intentionality Summit in just a moment, but and you decide you're going to lean into that 3x3x3, and you're coming up against something like, I can't find time to post, or I'm nervous to reach out to people. Like, when you start working through the mindset piece that is holding you back in that area, you're going to have breakthrough. And we talked a little bit about this. Jen talked about this on boot camp on Saturday about breakthrough. And I think that is kind of what it all boils down to for our clients in their health journeys, for us in our health journeys and in our coaching journeys. And really the breakthrough, it's not to facilitate business growth. It's gonna happen, but what's primary of primary importance, in my mind at least, is that it brings you more fully into the person that you were created to be. When you come through these seasons or trials of identifying what some of the challenges are of things that you have in your mind that are blocking you, and you take that block off, you're going to become more fully who you were created to be. That's what this is all kind of geared towards helping us to be able to do, and then help others be able to do. And that's a really powerful and, I think, fulfilling thing for us. So really quick, I just want to share on the Intentionality Summit, and then I know we're almost at 10, so we'll just kind of wrap up pretty quick here. But If any of you want to be on the cruise, you should consider trying to qualify for Intentionality Summit. So Intentionality Summit is an event that is sponsored by our kind of main organization that we're a part of, the Miller Organization. So that includes Doug and Tia Wood, Kevin and Becca Tinter, the Rennas, all of us are in the Miller Organization. Last year, at the end of November, beginning of December, they hosted the first Intentionality Summit. And the purpose of this is to help us to become even more intentional in our businesses and in our lives. I'll be honest with you that I walked away from that more focused on becoming a better wife and a better mom than I did on becoming a better coach. Like, that's 100% true. And a lot of it came out of the fact that I wanted to be a better coach. But the message that I took away was that I'm not going to show up better in my coaching career than I show up in my family. And that led me through some crazy stuff growth-wise that is still kind of like working out, because again, I want to take the emotion of the excitement that I love about coaching, but put it into structure. Because what I won't do is I won't raise my kids to feel like their mom was kind of always in the room with the door locked because she was always coaching. That's not what I want. And that's not what, from Dr. A on down, that's not what is trained and coached for us. And so the Intentionality Summit is an amazing opportunity to get more strategic and also really take your growth, both personal and professional coaching, to the next level. So because of that, it's intended to be for people who are desiring growth. And so there is a qualification for attending. And the qualification is that you have 6,000 in frontline volume and 2 senior coach legs. The qualification period, I believe, and that would be for 2 months in a row. I believe the qualification period ends in October, but I have to double check on that. So what that would mean is that between August and September, October, you would hit that goal, hit that level. I just want to share it here because in addition to kind of what it's all about, it's an amazingly fun event. And I honestly, of the events that I've attended, I think it's probably my favorite, the one that we went to this last year. So that being said, let your coach know if you're interested in kind of trying to go for that, because it will automatically qualify you for the cruise for most coaches, not all coaches on this team, but most coaches. And with that, I think let's open up. It's in Scottsdale. Who doesn't want to go to Arizona from Minnesota in November, December? So that I'm going to stop recording and then open it up and we can chat. And then whenever people need to take off, we'll be done. So thanks for joining us on recording. Have a great day.